What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Twisted Twenties. This is a podcast dedicated to reminding you of your God given purpose through personal testimonies, trials, and personal revelations. I believe that each and every single one of us was created with a purpose for a purpose, and it is up to us to align with it. I'm your host, T. Louise. Welcome back this week, y'all. I had to literally take a break last week. There was so much going on, y'all. Like, our car got broken into with the window smashed. It was so much that happened last week, and I needed a mental break. I just needed to relax and just get my mind in the mindset that it needs to be in. Our pastor has been really talking about good success and what it means to have good success. And so this week I am back with the topic of the power of purpose. I will be diving in today about what I feel like my life was, how it was before I started understanding my purpose, and overall how my life has changed now that I am discovering or understanding my assignment and my purpose. If you guys would love to join me as a co-host on Twisted Twenties, I would love to have you. Please email me a 1 to 2 minute video at submissions@twistedtwenties.org. And it's cool if you don't want to be a co-host. It is perfectly fine. I would still love to hear from you. I would still love to hear how Twisted Twenties is helping you, how these episodes are impacting your lives. I want to hear from you. So with that being said, y'all, we are going to go ahead and get into today's podcast episode. So if I am being completely honest, before before I literally turned my life to Christ, like which I am right now, don't get me wrong, I grew up in church. I always grew up in church. I went to church with my granny. I went to church with my mom. But before I understood what my purpose was or how I understood my assignment, I never really, if I can be honest, I never really had a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't feel like my life had purpose. If I can say that. I saw myself as someone who was bound by their mistakes. I saw myself as someone who would always be in the situations that she was in, whether that was poverty, being poor, being homeless. And there are so many other things that happen in college that I allow myself to stay in. And I didn't see myself how God sees me. And that was like a really hard struggle for me. It still is a very, very hard struggle for me to this day. Like to this day, I still struggle sometimes with seeing myself how God sees me. And so my life before I started understanding my purpose and my assignment was I was lacking direction. This is good, y'all. Okay. I was lacking direction. I was lacking faith. I was lacking confidence. I was lacking everything that God was trying to bring me to this point. Like what I have right now, everything that I have right now is what I was lacking in my past. God had a plan for me, but the plan that I had for myself wasn't the right plan. Okay. If I'm being honest, y'all, I'm not gonna say I've said this before in my podcast. I never saw myself as a broke girl living, check to check. I always saw myself having a luxurious lifestyle. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there, but I knew that I was destined for something great. And so for me, the plan that I had for my life, I originally went to school to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, correction. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer so bad because of how I grew up. But then my senior year in high school, I changed my mind completely. I was like, no, if I'm going to go to college, I want it to be for something that I feel like I'm actually going to want to do in life. And ever since I was a kid, I would draw my own clothes and I was a writer. I love to write. And don't get me wrong, I do feel like that God is using that to a certain capacity. But the whole entire plan that I had planned out for myself, oh, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to graduate from college. I'm going to move to California. Like, this was literally my plan. I wanted to move to California to be in the movie industry. If anybody who knows me from my past, like, y'all know, I was that girl. Like, I'm going to be on TV, which I still am, okay? I am still very confident that I'm going to be on TV. I don't know when or how I'm going to get there, but I am still very confident, and I still see myself in the limelight. And I have always saw myself in that way, but I just didn't know how. And it took me a while to understand that all the mistakes that I made along the way really led me to my purpose. It's leading me and continuing to lead me to my purpose. It's continuing to help me along in the assignments that I'm currently in. And y'all, I made some mistakes, okay? I made mistakes. I remember in college, okay, I'm very transparent, very honest with y'all on this podcast. In college, I was a thought pocket. Okay, I was a little thought pocket. I cannot tell you some of the guys that I was messing with. I was messing with 2 dudes at the same time with the same name. Okay, I'm being completely honest with y'all. This is before my days of even considering to know who God was. Okay, but God still kept me even when I was doing those things. Like, there are so many times I've had this conversation with my best friend before, my sister. I have told her, like, girl, I don't understand how I did not get pregnant. I don't understand how I did not have a baby. But that was not the plan that God had for me. And honest to goodness, I think a lot of us, we really don't pay attention to the times that God has kept us from the consequences of our own mistakes. And I feel like certain things that I did in college, God kept me from the consequences of them. Not saying that I didn't have consequences, but I didn't suffer a lot or what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't suffer a greater consequence that I really could have suffered. And so I think a lot of us, sometimes we take those for granted. Like, we don't allow ourselves to actually give God grace and give God thanks for, hey, thank you for just blocking whatever it is that you blocked. And so I feel like God's purpose for my life is what kept me. God knew that in this very moment in 2022 that I was going to start a podcast. He knew that I was going to be very, very vulnerable with people. He knew that everything that happened to me leading up to this very moment that I was going to use to help someone else. So God kept me even in the midst of me living out in the world. God kept me from experiencing my worldly mistakes on a different magnitude. Like, I cannot express that enough. God always sees ahead of us. He always sees ahead of us. Like, it's still taking me some time to get over my mom's passing. And I don't know if I will ever be 100% comfortable with it. And I have come to a place, I'm in therapy and things, working it out, but I feel like sometimes I try to rush myself. I try to rush myself into rushing through the grieving process or rushing myself through the healing process. And what I've learned is I can't do that. Like, I have to allow myself to actually feel what I'm feeling. And for me, it's like, okay, I know where I see myself. I know where God is trying to take me. But for some reason, grief or sadness or even like just the trauma that sticks with me with losing her has kept me in a place where it's hard for me. I'll get going. I'll get some momentum. I'm on track. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Hey, turn up, turn up, turn up. And then I get to a place where I feel like I've hit a brick wall. And sometimes it feels like it's hard for me to move. And so today our pastor was literally talking about that. And I feel like for me is even in the midst of me hitting those walls, I still feel like it's a part of my purpose. I still feel like it's a part of my assignment. Because today I was literally thinking of who can I ask that is around me? Who can I ask How is it when you are trying to walk in your assignment, when you're trying to walk in your purpose, or even when you're trying to build a multi-million-dollar business? How is it when you come to these brick walls? How do you keep moving? How do you find the encouragement? How do you find the motivation to keep moving even in the midst of life throwing what it's throwing at you? Life be lifing, okay? Life literally be lifing. And so we have to understand that even in the midst of life lifing, okay, that we still have to be obedient to what God is asking us to do. And for a few months now, I'm not going to even tell y'all how many months, because y'all would probably be disappointed in me. I'm disappointed in myself. But for a few months now, God has been telling me, hey, I need you to put yourself out there more. I'm trying to broaden your audience, but I will not do it. As of today, y'all, I am literally recording this episode live on my iPad, okay? I'm finally using my iPad other than watching movies and playing video games, okay? I'm finally using my iPad for what I got it for, what it was gifted to me for, which was to create content. I am literally recording this podcast now so that I can have content to create and put out that God needs me to do. And so even in the midst of me dealing with grief, even in the midst of me dealing with sadness, I still want to be obedient to what God is asking me to do. It is so hard. It is so hard. But what I will say is discovering my purpose and understanding my assignment has changed my life. It has changed the way I look at my life. It has changed the way that I look at myself. It has changed the way that I look at every decision that I make, which is why I ultimately beat myself up a lot, especially if I know that God is asking me to do something and I don't do it. Oh, I will literally beat myself up because I know that God needs me to do it. But not just that, I know that it is conducive and it is important to the purpose and the assignment that God has given me. So when I don't do something that God needs me to do and I don't do it immediately, I will beat myself up because I'm like, you have to do this. This is important for you to do. God is asking you to do this. And so purpose added meaning to my life. It added meaning. Every morning that I get up out of the bed, even if I'm feeling sad, I still feel like I have some sort of meaning. There's a reason why God allowed me to see the day. There's a reason why God allowed me to still have breath in my lungs. There is a reason why God allowed me to open my eyes. There is a reason why I'm still walking around on this earth. And so purpose added the meaning to my life that I feel like I was missing in the beginning. And what I've also learned is purpose. This is my favorite thing about purpose, y'all. Purpose causes transformation and growth. There is no way that you cannot walk and move in your purpose without there being some sort of transformation or growth. I understood that I could no longer stay the same. I understood that I have to move and be obedient, even if I'm fearful, even if I'm sad, even if I'm feeling depressed, even if I have $0 to my name, I still have to be obedient. And another thing that I had to understand is understanding that my past is the very reason why I'm called. My past mistakes that I did, God don't care about those. Because when we turn our lives to Christ and we become a new creation under Christ, okay? And so when we ask God for forgiveness for our past sins and things knowingly and unknowingly, God is not keeping what's the word I'm looking for? He's not keeping a chart of things. Oh, well, you did this, you did that, you did that. He does not condemn us, but we condemn ourselves for things that we've already asked God for forgiveness for. And then we wonder why we're going around beating ourselves up. We're going around feeling less than. We're going around feeling like we don't deserve what God has called us to. But I'm here to tell you today that you deserve everything that God is calling you to. You deserve everything that God has said that He has for you. And it is time for you to get up and move in your purpose. Get up and move in the assignment that God has called you to. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I have my purpose all figured out, because y'all, I really do not. Okay. but I do have a gist, or I have an understanding of what God is going to be doing in my life. I know that somehow, some way, he's going to use my voice to impact others. Somehow, some way, my past is going to be used to help someone else. Somehow, some way, God is going to use me. He's going to use those dirty things that I did, those dirty thoughts that I thought. He's going to use all those things to help someone else. And I think the best part about it all is that what we consider to be bad, or what we consider to be shameful, are the same things that God is going to use for his glory, for his honor, to help someone else. Like, that is the most beautiful thing about it all that I have learned in the midst of learning the power of purpose. Purpose is so powerful because a lot of people in this life, they don't know why they're here. They don't care that they are here. They don't care about their lives. They don't care about other people. And I think that the power of purpose, people understanding why they were put on this earth, could change people's lives. Because now you have an understanding of why you're here. You're not just waking up every morning, going to a 9-to-5, going to a job you hate. I don't care what nobody says. God did not create us. Okay. God did not create us to be in a place that we do not like. Now don't get me wrong, there are going to be times where God needs us to go on assignments that we do not agree with, that we do not like, that are very uncomfortable, but that is an assignment. And there is a reason why he has put us there. But God expects us to use our gifts and talents that he has put on and placed on the inside of us. Some of y'all, it might be your voice. Some of you may be a designer. I have a friend. Let me tell you something. This girl is cold, y'all. Like, she sent me a picture of one of her swimsuits. I'm like, girl, that is fire. Like, wait till I get this body yada yada together, baby. Okay. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna need you to make me a swimsuit for my birthday, because baby, when this body gets together, we gonna be, I'm telling you. Okay. People have gifts and talents that need to be used. Her gift and talent is designing clothes. She knows how to use a sewing machine to literally make fabric into into clothes, into a swimsuit, into a cover up, into a whole, I think she made a jumpsuit. She can literally take nothing and turning into something. That is a gift and talent. And how God is going to use that is up to God. But each and every single one of us has some sort of gift and talent that God has placed on the inside of us that he wants to use. But a lot of us, because we don't use our gifts and talents, they literally go dead. Like, think of it like a battery, okay? Like, the best example I can use is my camera battery, because right now it's dead, which is why I'm on my iPad. I have not charged my camera battery because I have not used my camera. So therefore, my battery is dead. If you are not using your gifts and talents, they are dead because they have been idled. So in order for you to charge your gifts and talents up, you have to start charging them, using them, charging them back up. And for me, like, even when it came down to screenwriting, I just started back screenwriting, y'all. Now this end part, I'm just rambling, just giving y'all a little ramble time. But I just started back screenwriting, and if for those of you who do not know, my dream has always been to write, produce, and direct my own TV shows and movies. And I'm currently working on a TV show right now, and I started back writing. I stopped writing after my mom passed. I lost all my creativity after my mom passed. I didn't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy, because really and truly, like, I could write a whole episode probably like in 2 hours, maybe even an hour, depending on how fast I'm typing. And then I would go and show it to my mom, and I would be so excited. I'm like, Mom, look at this, look at this. And she would be so excited. She would hype it up. She'd be like, oh my gosh, like, this is awesome. You know, you could add this, you could do this. And after she passed away, I felt like I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have that encouragement, or I didn't have that person pouring into me. And so I stopped writing. And so this year on my vision board, my goal was to start back screenwriting. And so I did. And I feel like God is going to use that gift and that talent to some capacity. So I just encourage you to use your gifts and talents. Do not allow your gifts and talents to be idle. Do not allow them to go dead, because let me tell you something. When it's time to charge them back up, it is not an easy task, okay? Do not allow your gifts and talents to go idle. There is something so powerful, something so impactful that God is calling you for. And it is up to you to align with that. I say it on every intro. I believe that each and every single one of us was created with a purpose, for a purpose, and it is up to us to align with it. And I believe that so strongly, because we have a purpose, but it is up to us to align with it. You can choose to align with it, or you can choose to not align with it. The choice is yours. And a lot of us choose to not align with that purpose because we have a vision for our own lives, of how we see our lives. And then when it doesn't work out, we blame God or we get mad at everybody else. But it's like, in reality, God has a way much bigger plan than what you planning. Like, I'm not even joking with y'all. I always saw Twisted 20s as a podcast. When God told me to start a website, I'm like, for what? A website? I'm like, what do I use a website for? God, it's a podcast. Okay? Seriously, y'all. I'm serious. God has so much in store for you. And I just encourage you to allow him to order your footsteps. Allow him to encourage you. Allow him to be your motivation. Allow your purpose and your assignment to be the reason why you literally are so excited to wake up in the morning. I'm telling you. Don't allow your past. Don't allow what people have said. And don't allow other people to dictate how you see yourself, because God sees you as something more than what someone else is seeing you. I hope that this episode was so impactful, as I strive for every episode to be. I really and truly do. I really love you guys. I just want to say I am so grateful for each and every single one of you guys who listen to Twisted 20s, even if it's just 2 of y'all, even if it's 3 of y'all or 4 of y'all. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you, because this Twisted 20s journey is not easy, but I am just grateful and I'm just thankful for you joining me along on my Twisted 20s journey. I love you. Peace, love, and blessings. T. Louise.